these days, but it's getting the proper equipment set up. But even then, I guess over time, you'll probably save yourself a lot of money.
Yeah, but in the beginning, you'll waste a lot of money because you'll be drinking shitty beer.
Oh, yeah.
Accurate.
My very first beer that I ever brewed sucked.
I've brewed some beer in my time, and some of it has just been fucking rancid.
I love my wife, and let me tell you, when she was like, I'm going to open a brewery, I was like, with this? And let me tell you, she has upgraded. Obviously, we're sitting here drinking, and it's delicious, but it was a long trial and error.
And that second voice you hear is Allison Wisneski. Nailed it the second time, too.
Nice.
Nailed it.
So Wisneski,
I've got this,
are we a transplant or a native?
I am a transplant. I am from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Hey-o.
Jesus fucking Christ. How do you spell Oconomowoc?
Let me.
I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, I want to actually. Let's go.
Well, I'm not the smart one in the group. I'm the handsome one. So, Chris,
let's hear it.
Say it again.
Oconomowoc.
Use it in a sentence. No,
She's
Oconomowoc.
I'm from Oconomowoc.
Does it start with an O?
I'm not telling you anything.
Fuck. Okay, O-C-A-N. Oconoma. Fuck it. I don't know. That's going to be way too difficult.
Our baseball team is called the 5 O's because it is Oconomowc.
Every other letter is a freaking O.
Every other letter is an O.
Matter community.
No.
That's okay.
Yeah, it took me a long time to understand that outside of Oconomowoc, 5 O's meant something different. So, yeah. It's right in between Milwaukee and Madison.
Okay.
So
that's beer country.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Yeah, my stepdad worked at Miller. I lived off Pabst Farms. So, like, big beer country.
Your stepdad worked at Miller? Was he just bringing cases of Miller? Nice.
Yes.
Do they have as nice of a retirement package as Coors? Because we hear so much.
Well, they got bought out by Coors, so
probably. It's probably the same one, though.
Yeah, right? Probably the same. So I grew up in beer, and then moved to Colorado in 2010 to serve in Americorp.
Okay.
So I served in a different program than Betsy. I served in a program called NCCC, which is National Civilian Community Corps. So we lived at a third of the poverty level. Thank you so much. But we were provided food and clothing. And we traveled around.
Like a test, like Survivor?
It's how it felt.
It's a way for the government to get like free labor.
Yeah,
basically.
so it was founded. The CCC is what built Red Rocks. So like we're the new version of
the 60s.
Yeah, shout out. So we served traveling the United States, working on 5 major issues. So infrastructure improvement, disaster relief, those types of things. So. We traveled around, and my third round project was at a nonprofit where I met Betsy and walked in the door and was like, "Oh, I'm going to marry her," and I knew when I met her. And
that's bullshit.
It is not.
That's not like that's rom-com movie stuff.
It was.
So,
I mean, I didn't think that.
So she did not think that. Let's be clear.
Exactly.
Let's be clear.
It took a long time.
It was
my girlfriend. She said. It took a long time to warm up to her.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't look at this person and be like, oh, I'm going to marry that. I feel like everybody just says that post.
Oh, no, it was, I mean, Betsy knew. I walked in, but to be fair, it was 12 people. She didn't agree, and we were 12 people walking in cargo shorts, so even the men, she was like, look at all these lesbians.
Everybody looked like a lesbian.
So
even
it took her a long time to get there to realize.
And that's Florida.
Yeah. Just a whole bunch of lesbians.
Cargo shorts and Crocs.
Yeah, that was the vibe. So
could be Ohio. I think I described Columbus.
Yeah. A lot of places.
So I left. I traveled after that and lived in Arkansas for my 4th round project. And then I got back to Denver as soon as possible. And I got here, and my apartment was infested with bed bugs. And so we had nowhere to go. And I was like,
Betsy,
oh, my God, that Betsy Ley, you got a futon? And we were dating like a week later. So... Nailed it. Just never left.
It's the same theory of, I left my keys over after the first date. I've got bed bugs.
I mean, to be fair, like, it was a really shitty apartment on 21st and Williams, and I'm not kidding. Like, we walked in, and it was...
2011, that's like when 5 Points is like, a little touch and go.
We walked in, and there was no carpet, there were no appliances. They were fully scraping because of the bed bugs, and I was like, I'm not going to stay here. Let's call that Betsy Ley up. And I knew what I was doing. So weaseled my way in, and here we are. I know.
Yeah, I've got a futon for you. Not sleeping on the futon.
Yeah. I mean, that was accurate.
My back.
You're like,
Yeah. Literally, my roommate, like 3 days in,
She's like, "Are you coming back?" I'm like, "I don't think so."
Yeah, no. My
I
roommate,
tricked this girl
who was a
into letting
very
me stay.
sweet guy, was just like, day 3, he was like, "Why are you not in Betsy's bed?" And I was like, "All right, okay." And then like 3 days later, I was like, "Oh, I am." So nailed it. And here we are, married and owning a brewery 10 years later.
Look at that. Mean through community service type project.
Isn't that cute?
Well,
How long have you two been hitched?
So we have the unique experience as gays of having 3 weddings to each other.
what? Oh, and
As the laws have changed. No, as the laws have changed here. So we did like a love union, we did a civil union, and then we did a wedding. So, and out of guilt for how bad people should feel about how the LGBTQIA community is treated, we did register for gifts every time.
Hell yeah.
I got so many
Yeah, you're
mixing
going to buy
bowls.
those gays.
How many toasters did you get?
Yeah, right.
Sadly, let me be clear, I wanted to put a toaster on the list, but Betsy had a Pop-Tart brand toaster, and the options were light, Pop-Tart, and dark, and she was like, we'll never get rid of this toaster.
Does it say Pop-Tart?
Yes.
Hell yeah, it
The
says
Pop-Tart
Pop-Tart
brand.
on
No,
it.
I'm on
Yeah.
Team Betsy.
Yeah, hell yeah, it says Pop-Tart on it.
All right, what's the most obnoxious gift you put on the registry?
Oh.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I will. Let's be clear. At one point, we were like registering for gifts, but then we just took the money and went on a honeymoon.
Smart.
That's
a lot cooler.
So that was fun.
I mean, as
Worth
a
it.
non-material things person,
Yeah.
it's so much more fun to go do something.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like, I'd
It was the
rather-
best.
I'm with y'all on that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. But I did get a lot of mixing bowls. That was not an exaggeration.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one was like, all right, and I guess this may be a pretentious thing, but it's like, oh, I know y'all are big beer folks. Here's this big cylinder drum. I went off registry and got you something. I went rogue, I guess.
Yeah. Thankfully, no. We did
It's like
brew.
the Phyllis Lippin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we brewed our own
Yeah.
beer for our weddings, which was fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
let's get into
What
it.
was the
Yeah.
first fuck up y'all ever had? Beer that just fell flat.
Oh,
on-
my gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
you always hear about trial and errors. How long did it take before you had one that was worth a damn?
Well, the first beer I ever brewed was with my friend Josh. He had
Shout out, Josh.
Hey
Shout
Josh. He had a Mr. Beer, like homebrew kit, and so we brewed with that, and it was awful. It was bad. Bad.
Is this like what do you mean by bad? Like not drinkable? Like you wouldn't bathe in
Yeah,
it?
so like when you homebrew, one of the ways to carbonate your beer is to put like table sugar in it, and so it was basically just like malty. It was like sweet bread water with a bunch of sugar added. Like if you can
So it was
imagine
like
that.
And
So
not
good.
carbonated, like just the carb was of the sugar. So you're
Yeah,
just like,
the carbonation's a bitch with all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
were you the taste tester
Yeah, and
dummy
I-
of this?
yeah, and I
We'll
would drink
call like
it.
the dumb test dummy.
Yeah, and I would
Because
drink it and be
that's
like, don't do this for your career.
Yeah.
Don't.
It was
even
really
ever.
bad,
It
but
was
we got
bad.
better.
So
We
did
got
you
better.
navigate into it? Like you grew up in St. Louis, which is like, and you grew up outside Milwaukee. These
Yeah,
are the
big beer
backyards
towns.
of beers.
Yeah.
Was it like I've always had this passion? Like, or were you miserable at your day job, or what was the reason you got into it?
It's really funny. I never ever thought
Getting
I'd
paid shitty money from the government.
Yeah, I never thought I was gonna be a brewer, and I never thought I would own a business. But here I am doing both of those things, and I don't know. It just sort of happened, and it was like the cool idea. Kate
We
and
should
Jen and I.
share the how the idea.
Yeah, I was
came
about
So,
to ask that.
yeah.
Was it a napkin or?
It was so we would go. There was five of us who were Vistas who worked in the same office together, and we would go to Vine Street Brew Pub in Denver after work and
Love that place.
drink beer and talk about how terrible it was to try to fundraise in the middle of a recession. And at some point, Jen, I think, was just like, hey, this is like really weird. We're in the middle of a recession. All of us are on food stamps. We make $10,000 a year. And yet it's a priority for us to like gather together and have beer. And so like Jen was like, why are we choosing, like with the very little money that we have, why are we choosing to spend it on beer? And this place is full all the time. Yeah.
Should have bought meth.
Yeah.
And you were saving money probably buying single ply toilet paper.
Yeah. It was, oh yeah.
Wait,
If there
were
was
y'all
a
not
free,
stealing it from the office, like the big industrial
was.
Cisco rules?
so
I was.
if there was something
time.
free to be done in this town, we knew about it. And so the idea was, Jen was like, why can't we take the money that we spend on beer and put it into nonprofits? Like if everybody in this brew pub is choosing beer over other stuff in the middle of a recession, like why can't we just have this money? And so that was the idea of Lady Justice eventually was, Basically, we're a social enterprise, so we donate a portion of our profits over cost back into nonprofits in our community. And so I got into beer and I got into brewing because of that. So it was more of a fundraising problem than it was anything else.
I bet you wish you had an MBA instead of that master's in
Yeah,
theology.
you have no idea.
Oh boy.
But
as a not accountant myself,
yeah,
I love paying someone to do our taxes.
yeah.
Oh, shout out to Laura, Director of Operations, who will certainly not listen to this podcast, but we should shout her out. She does our accounting and our taxes.
You'd be
Bless.
surprised. She could be a avid listener. So.
Yeah, in fact, this is probably episode 158 for her.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Shout out,
Jumped on
Laura.
a little
I'm
late,
certain you're
but
listening.
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the support, Laura. We know you've been there since day 7.
Okay, so hold on. So you came up with Lady Justice this idea for a brewery before you had completely honed your brewery
Yeah.
skills?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Like, we all liked beer. We drank a lot of beer.
So
we
this
knew
went
it.
on the back burner for a little bit?
We were home brewers. Yeah, Kate and Jen left Colorado in 2011 to go to law school.
Idiots.
Dumbest friends I know. And then, so we started developing it when they were gone. Kate had a business law class that she had to develop a business plan for. And she was like, hey, what if I try this idea out? So she got feedback on everything, and it seemed like a good idea. So she came back,
Like her professor pulled her aside and was like,
do it. Do this.
seriously? You should do this.
So
Let's
you got a
run,
business
don't
plan
walk.
for free. That's fucking
Yeah,
Yeah,
smart.
so-
and approved by a lawyer. So great.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
Suckers.
Yeah, we're sitting over here paying for shit.
Yeah.
Like an
just
idiot.
go to law school.
Just go to law school. It's cheap,
Yep.
easy.
There's so many
And-
lawyers out there, too.
Yeah,
Like, everybody
yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, it's easy peasy.
It's the easiest job in the
And
world.
what you should do with
like
that law
I said,
degree-
Kate and Jen are dumb.
Yeah. What you should do with
And
that law
We
degree
actually
is-
like Kate and Jen. They're also
They're the
day
best.
ones.
They're
Listeners.
They're
so
the best
shout
ever.
out to
I mean,
Kate.
they
they're
are-
actually
shout out to Kate
two
and
of the
Jen. We love
smartest
them.
people I've ever met
Yeah.
in my life.
Okay,
They're
so you
not
got a
dumb.
business proposal
Yeah.
approved.
Yeah.
And then so Kate called Jen and I up, and she's like, I think this idea is going to work. You want to work on it? And so Kate and Jen, when they graduated from law school, they both moved back to Denver, and we just happened to all be unemployed at the same time and had nothing else to do.
You're telling me the government job for $10K didn't set you all up
You
for
know,
life?
well, it was a 2-year term, so we did have to leave. We did
Oh,
have
wait,
to leave,
they
yeah.
make y'all leave these
Yeah.
jobs? Y'all don't even, like, if you wanted to stay and live in poverty,
So
you couldn't?
technically you can.
It's
so,
kind of like an Eagle Scout degree on your, like, it's a resume builder.
so I will say it's you get 2 years, and from those 2 years you get $5,500 to pay for education. But after 2 years you get nothing, so you're just getting paid really shitty for no reason, and you can do it up to
okay,
5.
gotcha.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so
For
anyone
anybody there in
listening,
year
yeah,
3
you're
through
welcome.
5, you're a sucker.
Yeah, truly.
Stop letting the government run you.
Y'all wild. Don't do that.
so that's when we started brewing all the time.
Okay.
So it's kind of like it was an incubator for y'all.
Yeah,
in
it was.
multiple
Yeah,
capacities.
yeah, in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Love as well as business.
Yeah.
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 And then you had the proposal, and you're like, well, fuck, her beer kind of sucks right now.
So that's the piece. Like, bless Betsy, our first apartment in downtown Denver had outdoor gas grill burners put on the stove, so everything coming out at the
Idiots.
highest.
They
that
set
we,
it up for propane, and
Yeah,
it
they
was a natural gas stove.
Yeah,
so
so
like
they
we
set
couldn't
it
get
up.
anything above a simmer.
Yeah, everything was a simmer, so beer would take us all day to
Well,
make
we
it
just
out
to stop
hot.
brewing there,
It
yeah.
just was a joke.
Brewed in our friend Ashley's garage.
Yeah, started brewing elsewhere, but like,
That's
and brewing
outrageous.
it, we brewed it at our my apartment at the time when we were first dating, and like stored it in the closet because I had more storage room in my bed bug house. And like, as she practiced and started looking up like mock recipes, so like how do I make a copy of a fat tire? How do I, like, as we went through that process, we learned a ton, as well as like doing things and fucking up intentionally. Like Kate one day was like, "Hear me out, you guys. What if the sugar was rock candy?" The
Well,
answer
and
is,
that is-
it will fucking explode in Kate's car
Well,
and blow out her window.
It's
Like,
appropriate to do that when you brew a Belgian, but not. It's not. You don't want to use that to.
Y'all blew out a window?
Kate,
Oh my God.
Kate busted
The
out
great-
her
It's like-
car
it's
to the
like
point she had to buy a new
Mentos
one.
and
Yes.
Diet
Mentos and
Coke.
Diet-
Yeah.
Y'all put pop,
Yeah.
I've heard of this, like Pop Rocks in things,
Yeah.
but Pop Rocks in a
So
sealed beer
when
container.
when you use sugar to carbonate your beer, if it gets too warm, the yeast can reactivate, and it'll start eating those sugars, and it'll start pooping out alcohol, and it makes a bunch of gas. And so if it doesn't have anywhere to go, it'll explode. And so
And when one bottle explodes, if there's a bunch next to each other, they're all